Action. Okay. Yay. All right. Don't be acting all shy, man. All right. So today we're going to make. This is my assistant, Isaiah. We're gonna be making a bruschetta chicken pasta. Yeah, bruschetta chicken pasta. And because it's me, I'm gonna add some shrimp because I like shrimp. So I have a pair of gloves for you too.
Okay. What about me?
What you want, girl? What you want?
I want some gloves.
Well, you would have to go and wash your hands first. So if you want to do that, you can go ahead and wash your hands.
Okay, alright.
All right. So we're going to have some tomatoes. We're going to use these regular Roma tomatoes. I have a whole bunch of them. We're going to make a sauce to go with the bruschetta chicken and pasta. And we're going to make an additional sauce. This is going to be the balsamic vinaigrette that we're going to make this into a balsamic glaze, and this is what's going to go on the top of the pasta once we get it started. And all that. My gas go!
Are you done washing your hands, Mommy?
Okay, yeah, so we're going to use some of these, not all of them. And then normal chicken breast, and we're going to clean these. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to clean the chicken breast. We need fresh basil for this recipe. So we're going to go ahead and clean these, and then we're going to let them dry, and then we're going to get started on the sauce. But first, I want to start with the chicken because I want that chicken to be seasoned and marinated. Y'all already know how I am with my seasonings. And then we got some garlic, of course, because this is important. It's very important. Got a fresh one, re-up from Costco. Yes. All right, so I'm going to get started with the chicken. Okay, so first thing we're gonna start with is I'm gonna go ahead and put these shrimp into some cold water and just let them unthaw. So I used about half the bag. I don't remember how many it was, but it wasn't enough because I ended up with a little pasta left over. But it's cool though. It still came out really good. So now we're just gonna go ahead and rinse out the sink. I've already washed it. So we're gonna go ahead and get started on that. And what I like to do is to rinse everything off in cold water. And I don't know if you guys know what I'm talking about, that like slimy kind of texture that's on the chicken. And anything that's fatty, I'm gonna go ahead and pull that off. And once we're done cleaning the chicken, we'll go ahead and of course rinse it again. And then I will cut each chicken breast in half. And this is just my own preference because I like to cook the chicken breast sliced thinner. I feel like it helps better with getting the seasoning to penetrate all the way through and getting the flavor locked in that I want to have for that chicken. So what I'm doing right here is I'm teaching my little man how to cut the chicken breast in half. So I just teach him to lay it flat and kind of angle the knife just off the bottom of the cutting board, and there we go. So it's almost kind of like a fillet that we're gonna do on the chicken. And I was very nervous with him with the knife because he's a little clumsy sometimes, but we all gotta start somewhere. So I want him to learn these things, and I want him to know that he'll be able to cook, for himself. He won't have to rely on a woman to do this for him. So I want to start him. He just turned 11. So Isaiah is going to go ahead and do that. He was a little bit afraid himself, but he got the hang of it and he was doing a really good job. So I just let him have at it. And once we do all of that, we get into our seasonings. So as you know by now, I have my favorite seasonings that I use, and how I select the seasoning that I'm going to use is based off of my memory of how it tastes when I use a seasoning, but before taste, I go off of smell. So I am just teaching him how to use the seasoning liberally and not to be afraid to put that seasoning on the chicken. And we gotta have some Nor because Nor makes everything taste better. So I just am showing him how to coat the chicken with all of the seasoning and to toss it and toss it and toss it until we get a good coating on the chicken. So what I'm doing right here is showing him how to use the skewer. I use the skewer to poke holes in the chicken so that the seasoning seeps all through. And then it is my belief, once you go ahead and season that chicken right up with all your seasons, I like to put it in a bowl and put some olive oil on top just so that the chicken is nice and juicy, because chicken breast can be a little bit dry and I don't want none of that. So I want the chicken to be nice and seasoned. I want it to be juicy. I want it to be very flavorful. So there's the finished product with it being seasoned. So now we're going to move on to cleaning. So right here I'm going to use my brush and my dish detergent and whatever to go ahead and clean. My mom always taught me to clean the kitchen as you go, and I know that works out a lot better, but that's not really my style. Usually when I'm done cleaning the kitchen, it's a fucking mess, but I'm trying to, you know, abide by that standard that my mom gave me. So I'm gonna go ahead now and I'm gonna rinse off that basil and let that get dry. So I'm gonna pick the basil leaves. I'm gonna pick out the ones that look defective, I guess, and I'm teaching Isaiah how to pick them as well, and to smell for the freshness, because basil is something that has a very distinct smell, and if it's not fresh, we ain't finna use that. So we gonna have to get rid of those. So the recipe calls for like 10 leaves of basil, but I think the basil gives a really good flavor, so I always use more in this case is better. So I'm going to use a little bit more. Make get those basil leaves all rinsed off, and then I'm going to put them in some just paper towel, let them dry off. So this is backbone of bruschetta marinara that we're going to use. We're going to use this on a couple different things, but the bruschetta marinara is very simple. All you need is some Roma tomatoes, some olive oil, the herb that we just used, the basil, and then we're going to go ahead and put that all into a bowl, mix it up, put a little salt and pepper in there, and boom. That needs to marinate in the refrigerator for at least an hour, just so that it releases all those flavors to it. And of course we got to put some garlic in there because it's not really the bruschetta marinara without the garlic. So once you get it all into the bowl, mix it up, and then cover it, put it in the refrigerator, and let that marinate. Okay, so during that whole process, our shrimp have thawed out. So now we're going to move along to them. We're going to do the same thing as we did. You know, we got to clean the shrimp if they need to be cleaned and shell them. So that's what I'm doing here in this video. Right here, we're going to just go ahead and shell those bad boys and throw them in a bowl. And of course, we're going to use some of the same seasonings and a little bit of garlic salt. I did add garlic salt to this one because we don't want everything to taste the same, even though I feel like the meat kind of takes on the flavor and makes it its own, with depending on whatever meat you use. But yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and toss those in my bowl, and those two are gonna go in the refrigerator to marinate and sit while we get the rest of this meal together. So now I'm gonna start working on the balsamic glaze, and I use 2 bottles of the balsamic vinaigrette. And basically what you do is you just boil the balsamic vinaigrette with sugar, and on a low medium heat, until it turns into kind of a thicker, more viscous substance. We don't want it to be as thick as like molasses, but somewhere right in between the consistency of syrup and I guess molasses, but we don't want it too far onto that side. We want it to still be a little bit viscous, and we don't want to have to warm it up for it to be viscous. So it's very strong. I was trying to waft the scent up to my son and let him see, and he said it burned his eyes. So it is a little, it is a bit much. Hey, so I'm back. Okay, so what I'm gonna do now is skewer the shrimp. So I'm gonna take 4 skewers, and I like to start off by kind of like rubbing them along each other, just to get off any of the excess, or any of the wood that's kind of coming off of the skewer. I don't want that in my food. I don't want to eat that. Okay, let me stop before I break the fucking skewer and try to get some other ones. Okay, so yeah, I'll go ahead and skewer those shrimp, and then once I'm done skewering them, I'm gonna put them back in the refrigerator because I'm not ready to grill yet. Ooh, look at them. They're so pretty. Okay, so now that they're all on the skewer, I'm going to put them back in the refrigerator. Oh yeah, our sauce is done. It's cooled off. This is the consistency that I wanted it. If you guys could smell it, I mean, it smells like funky feet. I'm not going to lie, but it smells amazing. Okay, so now I need some lemons because my fat ass decided I want a cake too. So I need some lemons. So I went to the backyard and I'm about to get some lemons off the tree. I see these 2 that I want. I hate going out to the tree though because the tree always has spiders on it. And I'm scared of spiders. But for my food, for my meal, I will make that sacrifice. Alright, so after bringing the lemon in and washing them off and all the spider web and all that on there, I'm going to go ahead and juice the lemons, and I'm going to hang on to the peel because I need to also use some of the peel as a zest. So I'm going to go ahead and put those off to the side. But the cake that I'm going to make is like my all-time favorite cake. Yes, it's a box cake, but baby, this is a cake that my mom taught me how to make. And I have got it down, baby. I've got it down. Okay, so it's a lemon jello cake, and you just mix all your dry ingredients first, and then follow the rest of your box cake instructions per usual. But the added kick to it is adding fresh lemon juice, and then I've also started to add the zest of the lemon in it. So I'm gonna take some of the lemon juice off to the side and try to save one of those lemon peel for the zest, because I also have to make a glaze to go on top of the cake because we don't frost this cake. But ooh, it's amazing. Like sex in my mouth. Okay, so I don't know what happened to my scent. He just kind of disappeared, but it's cool. I'm still gonna, keep on with what I'm doing. I'm multitasking like a motherfucker right now. I am doing laundry, I am cooking, and we always gotta have time for a twerk break. Alright, so in the oven the cake goes. Now I'm gonna start working on the glaze. I like to start off with the powdered sugar first and mix the lemon juice into it. And I want this to be a thick consistency so that, you know, not super thick, but I want it to be thick enough that it is going to come out as a glaze. I don't want it quite a frosting, but a liquid glaze, nice glaze. And I'm going to go ahead and add the zest to that. Okay, so y'all know what time it is. It's time to get on the grill. Alright, so the grill is ready. Did not like the grill because y'all know what the fuck happened the last time I lit the grill. The whole thing blew up on me. I have the scars to prove it. But anyways, so I had my husband light the grill. Unfortunately, he had to leave before this masterpiece was done, but I saved him a giant ass steak. So the grill was already like 350. So I went ahead and put it on there. I know not all of my coals are white, but that's perfectly fine. That's okay. See, we coming along nice, and I'm checking to make sure the chicken is done, and it's done. It's juicy. It's white meat on the inside. There's nothing pink. That's what I'm looking for. Boom, and it smells amazing. Oh my god. So since shrimp don't take very long to cook at all, I went ahead and saved those for last. And I'm actually just going to stand outside with shrimp because I don't want my shrimp overcooked. I want those to be nice and juicy. So I'm going to go ahead and put those on the grill. And I stood outside. I think it took in total about 7 minutes, 8 minutes for shrimp to be done. And ooh, look at that. Oh, yummy. If you could smell it, oh my goodness. It smells fucking fire. Oh my god. My mouth is watering all over again just watching this video. That's how you know I'm fat. See, you know what? Okay, so chicken's done. So what I like to do once it's time to cook chicken before we plate the entire dish is I like to cut it in a kind of an angled fashion because I don't want it to be chunks of chicken. I want it to be nice little slices. Alright, so now it's time to get started on the pasta. We're almost done, you guys. We're almost done. Okay, so the pasta is done now. I'm going to go ahead and strain it, run it under some cold water so we can slow or stop the cooking process. And the final step to this pasta is we're going to saute some of the bruschetta marinara with a little bit more EDOO. And then we're going to add just a regular tomato sauce to that. I like to add a little bit more garlic because garlic makes everything taste so much better. So we're going to go ahead and saute that. And then just make sure we get all of the pasta noodles into the pan, coat it with the tomato sauce, and we are pretty much finished. And because this is my take on Friday's bruschetta chicken pasta, I also had to have the spinach Florentine flatbread. So I just picked up some spinach dip from my local market, grabbed some Stonefire flatbreads, and I'm gonna make myself a Florentine flatbread with that. So just gonna go ahead. Damn, I use a lot of olive oil. My goodness. But it's necessary, I promise. So we're going to start off by brushing that flatbread with the olive oil. I'm going to throw that in the oven for like 5 minutes. Let it get a little bit crispy. And then once that's done, I'm gonna take the spinach dip and I'm gonna spread it over the top of the flatbread. I added a little bit more cheese to mine, and the cheeses that I added were Parmesan Romano and Asiago. So I'm gonna put it back into the oven for another 5-6 minutes. And then once that's done, I'm gonna take a little bit of the remaining bruschetta marinara, and I'm gonna put the bruschetta marinara on about half of it, because other people in my house and my husband and my kids are fucking haters and they don't like tomatoes. I don't really like tomatoes either, to be honest, but in this dish I will fuck these tomatoes up. Let me just let you know that starting right now. So I'm gonna use my pizza cutter and I'm gonna slice this bad boy up, and I'm gonna put the bruschetta marinara on like 3 slices just for myself. So y'all, it was like literally looking at me and it was like, baby, you know you want me. So I couldn't resist. I really haven't eaten anything today when I made this pasta. So this was my first little bit of heaven for the entire day. And I'm such a fat ass, like I am in heaven right now because it's so good. It's hot, it's fresh, and it's really good. Okay, so the cake is done. We've been took that bad boy out. It's cooled, and voila. So I prefer to use the bundt pan. You can use whatever pan you want, but I like the bundt because that's what my mom always used. So now I'm gonna go ahead and drizzle that glaze on the top of that cake. Ooh, look at that. That should be a crime for any food to just look this damn delicious. Like, y'all gotta understand me. Like, it is amazing. So this is my plate that I am preparing right here. I want to take some chicken and put on there, and I'm going to add some shrimp to that. This is my own plate. That's why I'm using my food and I'm eating while I'm doing it, because I am a fat ass. If y'all haven't heard me say that enough, it's because it's true. Shit. Okay, so I'm going to drizzle that balsamic glaze on the top of there. And then I'm going to also add some more Parmesan Romano and Asiago cheese blend. And I'm about to dive in. Boom. So my eyes were a hell of a lot bigger than my stomach was, because I had to tap out. That pasta was just too good, but it was a little bit too much for me. I did not finish that serving. And I totally forgot that I made the cake. But I did come back for it, because I'm a fat ass, but it was well after the kids had gone to bed. So I popped that bad boy into the microwave for like 15 seconds, and baby, honey, boo-boo, oh my God. It's amazing. Like, it just was so good. But that's the end of this video. Thank you guys for watching. Don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe. See y'all next time.